In other words, someone's claim on property through constructive trust, in rem, dispute over property, is brought to life and flipped into in personam jurisdiction by compelling your performance through liability. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Since everything is about perspective, and perspective raises our awareness, and once you're aware of things, you're able to see things differently. When you see things differently, you respond to it differently, or you create things differently. Two words, in personam and in rem. Literally, against the person. The person here, they're not discerning whether it's natural or artificial. In personam refers to court's power to adjudicate matters directed against a party, as distinguished from in rem proceedings over disputed property. Since this person that we know can be either natural or artificial, they're not delineating the specificity of it. What they will do is they will use this in personam to create personal jurisdiction over you. In personam jurisdiction is one of the three types of jurisdiction. The other two being territorial jurisdiction, aka venue jurisdiction, and subject matter jurisdiction. If you don't make it very clear what this person is in an equation, they would hold you, the natural man and woman, liable. But how do you do that? How do you remove in personam jurisdiction and actually change it to in rem jurisdiction? Because in truth, we all know that the illegas is what they bring the charge against, yet they hold you, the flesh and blood person, liable as a surety. What you want to do is switch this in personam jurisdiction and turn it into in rem proceeding. That's what you're looking for. When you intend to speak about you being a flesh and blood, you being a man in the land, or being a natural person. Again, in personam, literally against the person. In personam refers to court's power to adjudicate matters directed against a party. And that party is usually you, the one bringing the whole thing to life, as distinguished from in rem proceedings over disputed property. That is legis, is someone's property that is being construed as you by way of a constructive trust. Whoever owns a property can determine its character and nature based on Rule 403, 404, 405 character evidence, rules of evidence either in the state or federal level. It is a property matter that they are changing the character of that property through constructive trust by making you the surety and creating a cloud of legality of in personam jurisdiction. And the only reason why a constructive trust can be done to create a cloud of legality to make an in rem proceeding, which is a property matter, to construe that property into an in personam, is because you, the one that in rem property is being characterized as being in personam, regarding the difference between these two, outside of saying you're the flesh and blood and you're not the ens legis. Whenever you say you're the flesh and blood and you're not the ens legis, but you fail to realize that one, that special appearance that you're doing on that piece of paper is still in the world of fiction. And the only thing that could bring a fiction to life is your performance. Performance is what brings to life. Value compels performance. And liability compels performance. The way that they compel your performance to bring this in realm property into life through constructive trust to make it and flip it into in personam is by putting liability of criminal suppositions against you by way of warrant or some type of forfeiture of estate, which is unconstitutional. Again, performance is what brings fiction to life. And if you're writing on a piece of paper that you are the flesh and blood so and so, and they don't have jurisdiction and you're making special appearance, that piece of paper is still in the world of fiction. And performance is the only thing that brings fiction to life. And the only thing that compels performance are one of two things, which is liability or value. And liability is the way that they kick people's ass to compel performance, which brings artificiality, fictional things, to life. In other words, someone's claim on property through constructive trust, in rem, dispute over property, is brought to life and flipped into in personam jurisdiction by compelling your performance through liability. And the value that in rem, aka property, aka things legis, and the monetary attached to it through the GSA bonds on the back end and other type of fungible instrument that they're doing quantitative easing in it on the back end. The value of that is when they cash in, and they know that if you don't put your signature to it, it will slow down business on their end. So the question you ought to be looking at now is, if you're saying that they don't have personal jurisdiction, aka in personam jurisdiction, then that means what you should be looking at is to turn it into an in rem jurisdiction. And the only way you can turn it into an in rem jurisdiction is to comprehend that in rem jurisdiction is based on property dispute. Who owns what? They are already claiming the ownership by doing a constructive trust and holding you liable. What about you? How do you choose, create, delineate the different characteristics, and flip back in personam into in rem through property dispute? We speak about that on Patreon. Until next time, take care. Best of luck. Hey, beautiful people. I'm inviting you to come join my Patreon page. We speak about everything we don't speak of here on YouTube on the Patreon page. We speak of establishing privacy in many different means, how to hold tortfeasors liable, the different types of discharge, and the steps to actually do it. Now I'll be showing my own proof of the success, the intricacies involved in why and how it works, and the things no one else would tell you because they've never discharged themselves. The intricacies of settlements, suing people, and many other basic things like other tools that you can use privately, things of spiritual nature, because this goes beyond what you observe with your five senses. And if you just want to limit your remedy to just what you observe with your five senses, think again, because the other side is not playing in that realm. It's not an even playing field. Other things like study tools are shown, things regarding trust and asset protection, and how to lay your trust properly the way people seek it, and the advantage of how to do it, banking, the functionality of how they function, and the validity of it that a lot of people misuse or are misled by, where they think, oh, these other guys are bad, so now I have to just go into argument mode. No, you don't always have to argue. The law is perfected for your benefit if you're competent about it. Many things regarding child support, different examples of settlement checks, and the videos on it, the different aspect of how you can broaden your mind internationally beyond the little chicken scraps that people are picking up when it comes to passport and things of that nature, how banking work, how property protection work, the details of copyright, tort, privacy, the different types of trust, the intricacies, and exactly why and how they are done, the intricacies that people from other parts of the world know about trust that you don't. Just because you read something on social media and whatnot doesn't mean you really got it. The intricacies of how to use certain jurisdiction and the stuff everyone speaks of. More in child support, more in trust, more in court, more in spiritual nature of things, etc., etc. The fact that tax avoidance is different from tax evasion. The importance of things in commerce and how to actually function in commerce. How to actually really do things as a natural person is beyond speculation. But let me give you this caveat. If you're looking for a cookie cutter or some quick fast food way, this is not it for you, either here on YouTube or on Patreon. But if you're serious about your education and the function and application of it, rather than a mere accumulation of information, then come on over on Patreon. There are things we speak about over there that are universally and exponentially beneficial compared to that of the ones we speak of on YouTube. And more importantly, the practicality and the actual use of it. Take care. Best of luck.